The film is set in 2028, when the multinational corporation Omnicorp has introduced robotic peacekeepers that can uphold law and order, revolutionizing warfare. Television personality Pat Novak begins an episode of his show, The Novak Element, at the beginning of the film by stating that, aside from the United States, every nation in the globe is under strict surveillance and is equipped with robotic droids made by Omnicorp. This is mostly because the Dreyfus Act, which prohibits the use of military robots in the U.S., is in effect. Novak questions Pentagon officials about ways to lower crime rates around the world. The leaders clarify that because droids are prone to errors, they are not the answer. After rejecting their assertion, Novak shows the audience a live video of a demonstration of Omnicorp's droids. Large droids and other robots are seen scanning local residents in the live footage. To demonstrate propaganda against the droids, a man arranges for a bunch of self-kill bombers to detonate in front of the media inside a house. They begin their onslaught with the droids killing every bomber, but they manage to eliminate several of the robots themselves. With a knife in hand, the leader's kid dashes outdoors. The youngster is instantly killed when a robot perceives him as a danger and shoots him down. All of this is captured in real time by the camera crew. In any case, Novak ends his show by praising the way the droids handled the circumstance and stating that Omnicorp CEO Sellers had the proper idea to advocate for the usage of these droids in the United States. We find out, however, that Senator Dreyfus opposes it, as he passed the Dreyfus Act to stop this kind of law enforcement. As his show comes to a close, Novak asks why America is so strong. Murphy, a police detective, arrives to a meeting with Chief Karen Dean in Detroit. John Lake and Andre Daniels, two more police officers, are in her office. Murphy receives criticism from the chief for what happened the night before. Murphy and his buddy Lewis had engaged in gunfire with Antoine Vallon's gang, killing 6 of them and seriously injuring Lewis. Murphy shares his narrative with the chief after Lake and Daniels have left the office. A flashback occurs in the following sequence. Murphy and Lewis have been working undercover to stop the illegal firearms shipments. They interrogate a dealer while posing as purchasers, and he discloses that he is employed by Vallon, the criminal boss. When the undercover police investigate the serial numbers of illicit weapons, they find something startling. These firearms, which ought to have been secured in the evidence room, indicate that certain dishonest police officers are employed by Vallon, the criminal boss. Murphy and Lewis, against their better judgment, meet with Vallon at a restaurant to discuss the guns. The meeting gets off to a good start, but right before they finalize the transaction, someone calls Vallon and reveals the 2 police officers' true identities. As soon as he orders his men to attack the undercover police officers, Vallon leaves the table. Shortly later, several vehicles arrive in front of the eatery, and a gang of shooters brandishing submachine guns and handguns start shooting. Lewis and Murphy shoot back with their pistols. Murphy flees outside following a protracted gunfight in which multiple henchmen are slain. A henchman who was hidden in the kitchen suddenly emerges and shoots Lewis as he is about to follow Murphy. He is shot in the right shoulder in the process. Murphy remains with him until Vallon escapes, and an ambulance can come. Chief Dean brings Murphy back to the present and assures her that she will take care of the matter. In the meantime, Omnicorp CEO Sellers travels to Detroit to speak with his colleagues in marketing. The CEO ponders how they may persuade the senators to employ droids. He then suggests that as a test sample for integrating people and robots, they put a man inside a machine. After that, the CEO visits the Omnicorp Rehabilitation Facility, where Dr. Dennett Norton is caring for a man whose arms have been replaced with robotic, prosthetic limbs. Then the Sellers call Dr. Norton away. As part of the Man in a Machine program, they evaluate possible amputee candidates. Norton rejects each of them based on their physical characteristics or psychological evaluations, despite the fact that they are all seasoned police officers. In the meantime, we learn that the 2 officers who betrayed Murphy to Vallon are Lake and Daniels. At a bar, they run across Vallon, who kindly chastises them for not alerting him earlier. The 2 detectives believe it would be simpler to simply kill Murphy, but he contemplates bribing him to get him in line. That afternoon, when Murphy is seeing his injured partner Lewis in the hospital, Vallon gives one of his men the order to put a bomb in the driver's side wheel well of Murphy's vehicle. Murphy later returns home to his wife, Clara, and son, who is 10 years old. When the car alarm goes off, he and Clara begin to become amorous after putting their son to bed. He gets lured outside by the automobile alarm, which is a trap. The car is then abruptly remotely blown up. Murphy has 4th-degree burns all over his body and is gravely injured. One arm and both of his legs must be removed. Despite her concerns about Murphy's future, Dr. Norton and his medical team persuade Clara to allow him to be used for the program after spotting the ideal candidate for their man-in-a-machine research. 3 months later, Murphy and Clara are attending a party. But it turns out that Dr. Norton is looking at this memory while his crew completes Murphy's new mechanical outfit. When they awaken him, he is shocked to see what he has become. When Murphy awakens and realizes how much he has changed, he tries to flee in frustration, but Norton stops him and takes him back to the lab. A disgusted Murphy asks Norton to kill him after learning that the majority of his head, heart, lungs, and right hand are the only parts of his human body left. Norton warns him that the work will have been in vain if they allow him to pass away, because Clara signed the consent documents. Murphy then undergoes training and is expected to become acquainted with his program. His suit may react to a threat by drawing a gun if necessary, as the trainer demonstrates. After being led to a simulator chamber, Murphy is positioned behind a droid. He is unable to effectively compete with the machine. By allowing robot programming to take over Murphy's activities and make him believe they are his, Norton modifies Murphy's programming to increase his efficiency. Murphy proceeds to field training following the completion of his simulator training. He is tested against other robots and his trainer, who is outfitted in an exoskeleton. Murphy defeats the trainer by navigating through the robot's gunfire with ease. Norton and Sellers watch the full test training process. Norton clarifies that even though Murphy believes he is doing these things, he is only following instructions that have been pre-programmed. Because his human nature has been circumvented, the reprogramming has increased his efficiency, but decreased his empathy. Murphy visits Clara and his son at his home that evening to check on them. His family embraces him despite being taken aback by his new look. Shortly later, the city is introduced to the new and transformed Murphy, now known as RoboCop, at a major news conference. Norton transfers Murphy's complete police database, including his attempted murder, to his system as he is getting set up. He gets triggered by this and begins to experience seizures. Dr. Norton decides to repress Murphy's feelings as a result. After that, Murphy joins the wedding, but he is unable to express any feelings for his wife and son. The crowd falls hushed as he emerges ahead of everyone and starts looking around for lawbreakers with warrants. He notices a man in the crowd who is sought for murder, and things get heated. The man starts to flee, but our RoboCop knocks him down by shooting him in the back with a taser round. On his show, Novak uses the incident as justification for people to finally support this new initiative. On suspicion of rape, assault, and murder, he points out that the apprehended individual has escaped the authorities for 6 years. However, Murphy caught up to him in less than a minute. Public perception of the Dreyfus use of droids for security consequently starts to shift. Clara, meantime, starts to notice her husband's emotionlessness. Sellers, the CEO, tells Norton to keep her away from her husband since she has started to raise questions. Despite this, Clara is able to speak with Murphy about their son's unresponsive conduct, social disengagement, and nightmares. Murphy appears to ignore her, but he cannot resist watching CCTV footage of reporters harassing Clara and their kid as she attempts to get him to school. Murphy rides back to his house and examines the crime scene where his automobile exploded, after realizing how far he is come from his family. He is even more devastated to learn that his son saw his burnt body when he watches the surveillance footage that captured the explosion. After seeing the explosion, he finds out his son suffered from PTSD. Murphy then makes the decision to seek retribution by going after Valon's group, the Crime Lord. He locates Valon's storage facility. Someone alerts the mafia leader of Murphy's presence as he rides to the facility. Valon orders his soldiers to raise their weapons. To make it more difficult for Murphy to get death shots on them, they take extra precautions like turning out the lights and donning night vision goggles. Murphy uses his motorcycle to blow down the doors as they start shooting at him. Murphy sustains gunshot wounds to his suit and breaks his visor throughout the battle, but he eliminates Valon's surviving shooters, saving Valon for last. Following Valon's shooting death, the RoboCop retrieves prints from Lake and Daniels by taking a gun from one of the dead troops and scanning it for fingerprints. Lewis, his former partner, follows him back to the police station. He questions Lake and Daniels, demonstrating their collaboration with Valon and their role in his attempted assassination. After learning the truth, Daniels attempts to shoot Murphy out of fear for his career, but is shot back. Lake acknowledges that their chief, Dean, was complicit in the car bombing and the restaurant shooting. After tasing Lake, he approaches the chief. Working from a distant location, Murphy's trainer stops him before he can pull a confession out of her. Novak then discusses how Murphy revealed the wrongdoing in the police department in a subsequent episode of The Novak Element, providing more evidence that the robots should be let onto the streets at last. Murphy is in serious condition, according to a public statement released by Sellers' men in the meanwhile. He hopes to inspire compassion and have the Dreyfus Act overturned by using Murphy as a martyrdom figure. Then, in preparation for telling Clara that Murphy passed away from his wounds, Sellers sent his men to destroy Murphy. When one of Sellers' thugs shows up at Clara's house, he takes her and her son to meet Sellers. Fortunately, Dr. Norton is able to rush inside the facility where Murphy is being held and inform him that Sellers has dispatched mercenaries to kill them both. Before the two thugs can shoot at him and Norton, Murphy awakens in time to kill them. In the following scene, Lewis, who has mobilized the SWAT unit to helps Murphy as he rides his motorcycle to Omnicorp headquarters. Outside the building, he tases one guard, making the rest drop to the ground. Two droids notice him when he flips his motorcycle into the structure. He causes them to shoot at one another while they are shooting at the RoboCop. Murphy's left arm becomes trapped beneath a third robot that assaults him from above. Murphy is forced to seize a machine gun and shoot his left arm off as additional droids enter, but the arriving droids shoot at him, rendering him helpless. Fortunately, Murphy has a chance to flee when Lewis steps in to save the day and stands in front of him. Shortly later, Sellers is caught by his thugs. They fight and start shooting. Lewis gets there in time to shoot the villain before the primary goon can shoot Murphy, killing him. Lewis is shot during the operation, but it does not kill him. Then, while Sellers waits for a helicopter, Murphy reaches the building's rooftop. He is accompanied by Clara and his kid, as well as other mercenaries. The mercenaries obey Murphy's order to stand down. Murphy tries to arrest Sellers for attempting to kill him, but Murphy's programming prevents him from shooting Sellers because he is wearing a red asset bracelet. Sellers takes advantage of this and points his gun first at Murphy, then at Clara and their son. Murphy's determination allows him to shoot Sellers, who retaliates, overriding his program. Clara and their son rush to Murphy's side as Sellers passes away. One additional occurrence of the Novak element is seen in the film's closing scene. After Norton testified against the Omnicorp program, we found out that the president had resurrected the Dreyfus Act. In spite of this, Novak remains pro-robot, continuing to disparage Norton and commend vendors. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this movie on my channel. Please subscribe to inspire me to make movie recaps for you.